Dear friends, good morning. Welcome back to the Three Cs Initiative Business Forum. I see a lot of new faces, but I think I saw most of you yesterday. Is that correct? Did you enjoy the reception last night? Did we treat you right? By the way, who was the last person to stay on the terrace last night? I suppose he's not here, right? Along with a lot of others. I mean, this room was packed yesterday to the roof, if you can believe that. But, the reception was good. That's a sign. But everyone else is feeling great and energized this morning. Wonderful. Look, this is going to be a fascinating day today. We have 4 panels on the, one of them on a super important issue of energy, obviously, but also on other priority segments for investment in the 3Cs region: transport, digitalization, innovation. We will also have plenty of breaks, which is great, also for business-to-business networking. Similar to yesterday, today we also expect a couple of remarkable announcements about additional partners and contributions to the 3Cs initiative. So, stay tuned. This is going to be a wonderful day. And we begin day 2 of the Business Forum with opening remarks from Valdis Dombrovskis, Executive Vice President of the European Commission. Welcome back, sir. Lovely.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me say that I'm happy to be back here on day 2 of this important summit and business forum. Yesterday, we heard many interesting interventions concerning the direction of travel of the 3Cs initiative. Today, I want to zoom out slightly and provide some considerations on where this initiative sits in the wider scheme of things. I want to look at the regional and international dynamics that can influence its development. In particular, to look at the key role investment must play. Let me start by acknowledging the obvious truth. The stable, comparatively easy geopolitical and global economic picture of early 21st century is now very much behind us. We are operating in changed and very turbulent geopolitical reality. The COVID-19 pandemic already upended economic planning around the world. And then, just as we were cautiously moving into recovery phase, this was compounded by Russia's brutal and illegal aggression against Ukraine. The shockwaves of Russia's aggression continue to be felt, most prominently here in the 3Cs region. Let us not forget that Ukraine is a proud European country bordering on one of the 3Cs in question. Thanks to the coordinated action between the EU and our allies since 24th of February, Russia is under severe pressure. We clearly see that the risk of operating or investing in Russia is enormously high. It is not a place where the EU or our international allies see secure and morally justifiable investment opportunities. I would like to thank all the companies who decided to stop their business in and with Russia. For those who are still waiting to do so until the end of so-called Russian special operation, we can suggest considering very seriously all the risks that they will be taking and factor them in the cost of their business operations, and also consider not putting profits before the values. The negative economic consequences of the war are clear. Food and energy prices continue to rise. This presents severe cost of living challenges to our citizens. As projected in the European Commission's latest economic forecast, for now we see upside risks to inflation and downside risks to growth. Inflation in the Baltic states in particular is particularly high. It dents the disposable income of households, especially the most vulnerable households. At the same time, the support for Ukraine in frontline EU countries is the strongest. Countries and societies that are most exposed to Russia are willing to pay the highest cost, because these countries are actually aware of the risks and know that the cost of inaction is much higher. However, fundamentals of European economy remain strong. The quick rebound of the EU economy from COVID-19 pandemic proves this, and we have taken strong actions in the past 6 months to further reinforce Europe's economic resilience and strengths. Most importantly, the overarching strategic goal for the European economy remains fully valid. By this, I also mean the EU's strong investment commitment to the Three Seas region. EU funds will continue to flow and provide a solid leverage for attracting private capital. Let me repeat, our commitment to continue investment does not change. Because the EU is staying the course in pursuing the green and digital transformations of our economy. This creates a predictable direction of travel for investment projects. Multiple EU funds and policies are working in complementarity to support these goals. And of course, private sector investment has a central role to play. So my key message today is really an appeal to the business and investment community. I want to assure you that the European Union's long-term economic planning will provide both stability and certainty. This should give you confidence to become partners in meaningful regional initiatives like the Three Seas. The EU will remain a compass even in this uncertain new world. So, in essence, the strength provided by the wider EU framework makes it a good time to invest now, not the next year, not in 10 years from now. The foundation is already strong. EU investment and strategic planning for the Three Seas countries has been transformative over the past 20 years. Let me provide a few examples. Since its onset in 2009, the EU strategy for Baltic Sea region has brought significant results in areas such as innovation, digitalization, safety and pollution prevention. It has contributed in shaping and developing policy on energy, navigation, environment and climate change in the region. The EU strategy for the Danube region plays a similarly important role as a cooperation platform for 10 countries along the Danube River basin. It is increasingly instrumental in supporting the Western Balkans and preparing the EU enlargement in the region. The Danube strategy is, by the way, currently chaired by Ukraine. Looking to the medium, the goal is to make the twin green and digital transitions a reality. The region's massive investment needs also provide massive business opportunities. There are many relevant EU initiatives at work. Structural funds as well as a recovery and resilience facility supported grants and loans for investments will feed into areas of interest to the Three Sea initiatives. This includes transport, energy, digital connectivity, environment and research and development. The Connecting Europe facility invested more than half of its 22.4 billion euros in this region. Such investments are driving economic transformation fully in line with our wider European values. But we know that public money will not be enough. Far greater private investment is needed. To give just one example, we estimate that around 520 billion euros will be needed as an additional investment every year if the EU is to achieve its 2030 emissions targets. The InvestEU program is expected to leverage substantial private funds to support investments and create jobs. It will provide and attract long-term funding in line with EU policies, backed up by budgetary guarantee, and it's expected to leverage more than 370 billion euros until 2027. Our closest partner financial institutions, EIB and EBRD, will also play an important role, both in terms of funding and in terms of triggering other public and private funding. I encourage both institutions to prioritize and further step up their engagement in the region. The ongoing work on greening financial markets is highly relevant. We are creating a right regulatory incentives for green investments to thrive, notably through our taxonomy to define what kind of economic activities should be considered green. And international trade obviously also has a role to play. Since the start of the pandemic and throughout Russia's aggression against Ukraine, our number one priority has been keeping markets open and supply chains well functioning. We are conscious that we must have the tools to protect ourselves when others do not play by the rules. Accordingly, we have taken strong recent steps to make our trade policy more assertive. In the new geopolitical reality, harmful dependencies must be reduced and, where necessary, eliminated. New conversations on nearshoring, friendshoring, and diversifying supplies of inputs are taking place in this respect, because supply chains must be efficient but also resilient. The bottom line is clear: we need more trade, not less. The war in Ukraine has given renewed purpose to the transatlantic relationship, where we have taken enormous steps forward in recent times. We settled, or at least partially resolved, our main trade irritants, namely the Airbus-Boeing conflict and the US steel and aluminum tariffs. We held a successful second meeting of the Trade and Technology Council between the EU and US last month. The Trade and Technology Council has grown into a key platform to build a joint positive agenda. Our determination to deepen our cooperation is clear. Global leadership that is built on shared values has strong potential to succeed. Engagement with China remains essential on several directions. We must be able to talk with one of our biggest trading partners also about difficult issues. For trade and investment, the most important platform we have is a high-level economic and trade dialogue. We are currently working with China to prepare the next edition. Last Friday, the EU took a very important step when we relaunched negotiations of the free trade agreement with India. We also launched talks on the investment protection and geographic indications agreements. This is highly significant. Gaining greater and fairer access to the Indian market can deliver jobs and growth across Europe, but of course we also welcome Indian investments here. Bilateral relations are vital, but equally we must invest our time and effort into multilateral level. This is critical also for EU interests. In the current reality of great geopolitical and economic tensions, many ask if multilateralism is dead. Have we returned to the raw power politics? Last week's 12th ministerial meeting of the World Trade Organization provided a definite answer, and that answer is no. Multilateralism is not dead. MC12 proved the opposite. After 2 sleepless nights of negotiations, we succeeded in delivering important agreements amongst the 164 member countries. The EU led from front in all negotiations, and the results speak for themselves. We showed that we can respond to urgent challenges such as emerging food security crisis and the pandemic. We have established multilateral agreement to support sustainability and clamp down on subsidies that lead to overfishing. We agreed to extend the moratorium on customs duties on e-commerce until the next WTO ministerial. This was essential for our businesses and to support digital trade. Of course, profound divergences remain in other areas. They confirm that deep reform of the organization is urgently needed. We were the strongest proponents of the wholesale WTO reform and we agreed to launch a proper reform process. We'll continue working on this with the goal of getting an agreement at the next ministerial, because the EU believes in multilateralism. We understand that stronger and better global rules are more important than ever. We know that our democratic values must be at their core. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have presented a good overview of where 3Cs initiative fits in the wider picture. We face many challenges, not least the security situation in the region, but the EU's commitment to invest in the region remains rock solid. I trust that the 3C Summit and Business Forum can serve as a catalyst to deliver major additional benefits and commitments. Public and private investments working in synergy have a decisive role to play, and I look forward to hearing your views on how we can develop this perspective for coming years. Thank you.
Commissioner Dombrovskis, thank you very much. Thank you indeed for putting for us the 3Cs region in the broader European and global context, and thank you for your interventions repeatedly over these 2 days. I think they have helped tremendously our participants in the forum. Right.